The story starts with a boy named Jirô, who dreams that he turned into a pilot and flew his plane around a delightful town loaded up with nice view. When suddenly, the plane unexpectedly breaks down and he was falling down. Jirô then got awakened from his dream. The following scene shows Jirô getting an aviation magazine from his instructor at school. He had forever been an avionics enthusiast, and he looks exceptionally cheerful after getting the book. On his way back from school, Jirô rescued a boy who is being bullied by his school friends. He returned home looking messy but luckily did not get into trouble with his mother. He then reads the magazine he received before. While reading, he gets distracted by his younger sister named Kao. He then told his little sister about a man in the magazine named Caproni, who is a famous airplane designer from Italy. In the night, while up on the roof and looking at the stars, he falls back into a dream again. This time, he met Caproni, who showed him the plane he dreams of building. The plane will bring passengers instead of missiles. Jirô then asked Caproni about his dream to also become an airplane designer. He told him, since he has a problem with his eyesight, flying the plane is not possible. Caproni then told him that he himself is also not a pilot. He only designs and creates the plane for others to fly. With the encouragement from Caproni, Jirô's face lights up at that moment and get him excited to become a plane architect or airplane creator too. Some years later, Jirô has grown up into a young adult. He is traveling by train to a university to pursue his dream of becoming an engineer. While sitting outside, suddenly the wind picks up and it blew his hat off. Luckily, a stunning young girl catches the hat just in time. She is there with her maid, and they smile and say hello to Jirô without saying their names. While the train is running, suddenly a devastating earthquake strikes the town they are traveling through. The situation turns chaos as people started jumping down the train. Jirô, who looks confused, scanned the situation around and saw the maid has broken her ankle and was unable to walk. In order to protect them from the explosion and fire, Jirô offers to carry the girl's maid away from the derailed train. Jirô and the little girl then went to the girl's house to ask for help. Once they are safe, he then left without saying his name. After a few years, Tokyo has finally recovered, and Jirô is currently a student at the University of Tokyo. He was inspired to create his airplane by a mackerel bone that he typically eats during his lunch. He is amazed by the beauty of the arch the bone makes. There, he also met Hanjo, who soon becomes his friend. In the meantime, Kao, his younger sister, decides she wants to attend medical school and pursue a career as a doctor. One day, the young girl Jirô had saved on the train sent him a package. Jirô hurries outside as soon as he receives it, in the hopes of seeing the girl but discovers no one there. Jirô carries a disappointed look as he makes his way home. The story then continues where Jirô was hired by Mitsubishi Corporation in Nagoya to develop a more streamlined and small fighter jet. He doesn't know how the planes would be used in the end, but he is committed to become a successful designer. He was welcomed by his grumpy senior, named Kurikawa. Initially, he thinks Jirô is not as capable on doing his job, but after time, he grows to like him because of the sophisticated plane designs he creates. Jirô and Hanjo, who both work for the firm, remain good friends, and they collaborate on the Falcon fighter plane, which is intended to win the war and bring peace to the country. The plane was then called as Prototype 12. It was then taken to the airfield for testing. While being observed by the Japanese military personnel, the aircraft eventually failed and crashed after some time in the air. Jirô is upset by Japan's outdated technology, which mainly makes use of wood and canvas rather than metal. He and Hanjo were later sent to Germany to study the country's cutting-edge technological development. During the visit to the airplane manufacture facility, Jirô and Hanjo were amazed by the magnificent look of the Junkers G-38, a lightweight metal-only aircraft made by the German. However, when they were inside the hangar, they did not receive a nice welcome and were stopped by a couple of German soldiers who told them to leave. Fortunately, the owner, Hugo Junkers, came out and he gladly welcomed them aboard the new plane. They began studying the aircraft's body, and power plant. Jirô is amazed by how many passengers the plane can carry and believes that it may be used for far better things than fighting. We then see Jirô falls into another dream where he meets Caproni again. Caproni told him that although planes have made the world a better place, people would ultimately exploit them as warplane for attacking their enemy if they believe they can use them to succeed. Back in Japan, Jirô received a job to create additional planes in a short period of time. He also gets promoted as a chief designer. The following planes that Jirô and his colleagues designed also failed badly and were destroyed. Jirô made the decision to spend a brief holiday in Karuizawa after experiencing so many failures. While spending the summer at a resort hotel, he passed by a young woman who seems familiar. A strong wind blew the girl's umbrella towards Jirô as he was walking around the hill. The next day, while Jirô was strolling at the park, he runs into the girl again. He then found out that her name is Nahoko, and she turns out to be the girl whose maid Jirô saved during the earthquake. She told him that she had been praying all along, hoping to see Jirô again. During a rainy walk with Jirô, Nahoko told Jirô that the maid now has 2 children and that she cried with joy when she found out Jiro's whereabouts. Also, Nahoko and Jirô shared a brief romantic moment under the rain. Suddenly the rain stopped and they saw a beautiful rainbow in the distance. We then see Nahoko introduces Jirô to her father. As time passes, so as the relationship between Jirô and Nahoko grew closer. Until one night during dinner, Jirô proposed to her in front of her father. However, Nahoko agrees to the marriage only after her condition improves. Nahoko was diagnosed with tuberculosis, which she inherited from her mother, who passed away 2 years ago. In one of the nights, Jirô was approached by a guy named Castorp, who also stays at the same hotel. Mr. Castorp turns out to be a Soviet spy who ran away from Germany. He told Jirô that he disapproves of the Nazi regime's cruelty and carelessness, and warns him that Junkers, the owner of a German airplane factory, is in serious danger for going against Hitler's views on war. Back to his professional life, Kurokawa informs Jirô that the Japanese Secret Service is looking for him, and they have captured a few of Kurokawa's friends. He is not sure the reason for their capture, but given this situation, Kurokawa told Jirô to move in and stay with him until the situation is safe. On the next scene, we see that while working during one night, Jirô received a phone call informing him that Nahoko is falling sick and had been spitting blood. Panicked, Jirô then quickly packed up his work and hurried back to Tokyo to see Nahoko. On the train, we can see that he is still trying to complete his work while sobbing. Then Jirô arrived at Nahoko's home and hugged Nahoko on her bed as soon as he saw her. However, because he had to attend a crucial meeting in the morning, which meant he had to leave right away that night, Nahoko told her father that she would like to be treated at the sanatorium. She wants to recover so that she could spend her time with Jirô. It was winter, and Nahoko was feeling lonely at the sanatorium. After reading the letters that Jirô sent her, Nahoko can't help but feeling longing to see him. After that, she made her way out of the hospital and went to see Jirô. After learning that Nahoko has left the sanatorium and is on her way to meet him in Tokyo, Jirô hurried to the railway station to meet her. Nahoko had actually intended to meet Jirô for a brief period of time before returning to the sanatorium. After visiting Jirô, she later had a change of heart. Jirô and Nahoko agreed to get married that very night and asked Mr. and Mrs. Kurokawa to be their witnesses. Nahoko looks so beautiful that night as she walks down the corridor, and as she stands right before Jirô, he could not help but feeling mesmerized by Nahoko's beauty. That night, the two got married. Jiro's little sister Kao, who is now a doctor, visits her brother and advises him to bring Nahoko back for treatment at the sanatorium. As a doctor, she knew Nahoko's condition is getting worse if not treated, and may not have much time left. However, it turns out that Jirô wants to spend as much time as possible with Nahoko for precisely that reason. For the two of them, every second counts. Jirô is unable to quit his job. He wanted to continue working on his new airplane project, but also didn't want to lose precious time with Nahoko. While Jirô returns to work, he finally finished the design and created a perfect plane. He was so tired when he came home the next day, and he briefly told Nahoko about it before he dozed off next to her. The next morning, he kissed her goodbye and left to work. This happens to be the last time they are seeing each other. Nahoko then told Mrs. Kurikawa that she is feeling better and wanted to go for a walk. Little did they know, Nahoko has left a letter in Jiro's room, saying that she has decided to return to the sanatorium. After finding her letter, Jiro's little sister Kao can't help but break down in tears as she knew she won't see Nahoko anymore. While at the airside, Jiro's plane flew high in the air. The design has been a huge success, and everyone looked happy except Jirô. Suddenly, a strong wind makes quite a noise far in the distance. Jirô is looking nervous, and he sensed that Nahoko has departed from this world. Towards the end of the story, Jirô was having a dream again. He is haunted by the image of thousands of the wrecked planes being destroyed in flaming explosions. Jirô told Caproni that he regretted the fact that his plane were primarily used for war. Even then, Caproni reassures him that aviation is still a beautiful industry. And right in front of him, Jirô also sees beautiful Nahoko's spirit, who told him to keep living his life to the fullest before she fades into the wind. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notification, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.